Okay, hi, how are you doing? And today I have brought for you details of Godrej Nature Plus, and here the idea is to help you to know what you're looking for and to make a buyer decision about Godrej Nature Plus, which is present in Sector 33 of Sohna. This is prepared by Lexora Consulting. This is a sort of a brochure walkthrough. It is rigorous, non-spin assessment of price, product, delivery risk, and yield, but for two very different readers at once: the patient, long horizon investor, and the urgent end user who needs a roof over their head. By the end of this, you will know exactly which one of these are you and whether this project is right for you. 18.74 acres roughly is the size of this property, and roughly 1200 units are present, 24 floors at the peak, 70% open spaces, and revised RERA possession date for this property is as of January 2028. Let's start with the verdict, right? Because everything that follows is in service of this one slide. Uh, our call is selective buy, not an outright buy, not an outright pass, a selective buy. Godrej Nature Plus is a visionary product, still in one of the strongest growth corridors in North India, but it is undone in equal measures by a decade delivery delay, a loading factor north of 40%, and a net rental yield under 2%. A 2 BHK here will cost you between 1.4 1.9 crores, and that's 10,400 to 13,700 rupees per square foot on the super built up area. The loading factor that you are billed for versus what you actually get to live in is 46% against industry median of under 30. Possession has been pushed to January 2028, a 5 year slip from the original 2023 commitment. And if you run the rental math, the net yield comes out to be 1.8% below what you'd expect parking the same money in a 6 month fixed deposit. So here is the framework we have built the rest of the brief around. If you are a long-term investor with a 5+ year window or a wellness-oriented uh, end user, this project deserves serious consideration. If you are chasing rental yield, you need to move in soon or are maximizing for carpet area efficiency. This is not your project. Let's unpack exactly why. Why does Sona deserve the much attention that it sort of gets? And because it's no longer the periphery, it is pressure release valve for NCR market that has priced itself out of its own core. Central Gurgaon along the golf course road in Cyber City now regularly breaches 1 lakh rupees per square feet. That's simply unaffordable for the broad middle class of the market, and demand has had nowhere to go but south. For tailwinds are, mm, you know, uh, converging on Sector 33 right now. First, the Sona elevated corridor, which is NH 248A, the 21 kilometers 6 lane has collapsed under what used to be an unpredictable congested slog into Cyber City down to a reliable 20-minute drive. Second, HSIIDC is building a 1,500-acre 6 sector township, industrial township across 6 sectors, including a dedicated leather manufacturing park that creates a genuine local employment base, not just speculative buying. Third, the Aravali Conservation Zone, over 4,500 hectares, acts as a permanent ecological boundary, which means Sona can't sprawl into nothing. It has a natural ceiling on overdevelopment. And fourth, the Gurugram Metro Loop connecting Huda city center to Sona has moved from blueprint to ground breaking, with operations targeted near 2029. Historically, NCR Transit announcement adds 15 to 20% premium to the property near the alignment. The result of this apparent apartment values along the Sona corridor have appreciated by roughly 211% over the past 5 years. outperforming nearly every other micro market in the NCR region. This is the macro tailwind every unit in this project is riding. The question is whether the project itself adds value on top of that or simply rides the wave. We'll get to that in a bit. So coming to the project snapshot overall, let's ground this in the specifics of who is actually building this and what you're buying. So the developer on record is Godrej Highview LLP, a SPV, Special Purpose Vehicle, a joint venture between Godrej Properties and Value Horizon Group. The land 18.74 acres was originally licensed in 2014 to a different entity, AMU Shri Hotels and Resorts, before the developer changed to Godrej Highview, was formally approved in 2017. It's registered with RERA under the registration number 18 of 2018, and construction finance has been raised from ICICI Bank with the project land mortgaged against it. On the product side, 12 to 13 towers peaking at 24 floors roughly, peaking at 24 floors, roughly 1200 units in total, 70% open space, and the CTMA3 air purification system, which is sort of the USP also of this, and a 5-tier security setup including facial detection and canine patrols, which is essentially dog squads, stand patrolling your periphery. Unit wise, a 2 BHK runs from 1385 to 1528 square feet, super built up area, with the large 3 BHK configuration spread across tower B, C, D1 and D2. We are going to compare this against the actual carpet area in a few slides, and the gap matters enormously, to be honest. So coming on to the product thesis, which is essentially around the wellness game. So what is Godrej actually selling here? Not square footage, it is selling air, light and outdoor space. The entire pitch rests on single bed. That NCR air quality crisis is severe enough that buyers will pay a real premium for a CTMA3 filtered low skyline Aravali adjacent address. For the right buyer, the bet pays off. For a buyer running a spreadsheet, it does not. And the center of the master plan is the O2 Island, a 5 to 6 acre central health park, with over 800 trees, herbal gardens growing tulsi, mint and aloe vera, scented gardens of rose, magnolias, koi ponds and even water volleyball. The project is marked as India's first residential deployment of CTMA3 air purification technology, claiming air quality roughly twice as clean as the surrounding atmosphere, a genuine differentiator in a corridor that possesses severe AQI readiness every winter. Severe AQI readings for that matter. The architectural signature is that all corner apartments layout, every single unit occupies a corner position in this tower, which means cross ventilation and natural light from multiple facades and meaningfully better acoustic privacy, since you share fewer walls with neighbors. That's rare in mass market high-rise construction. It's a genuine structural benefit, not just marketing language. Then there is an 18 to 22,000 square foot clubhouse on stilts with a pet park, healthcare, live chess, horoscope zone and sports arena. All of this is real, but all of that also has to be paid off both in purchase price and monthly maintenance bill. That's the wellness wager. Extraordinary amenities, infrastructure and extraordinary owning cost, to be sort of precise. Which brings me to the next part of it. Let's talk pure history. At launch in early 2018, a 2 BHK here was priced between 79 and 87 lakh rupees, roughly 5,700 to 6,200 rupees per square feet. Fast forward to today, mid 2026, and the same unit trades at around 1,200, and unit type trades between 1.41 and 1.9 crore, 10,400 to 13,700 rupees per square feet. The 3 BHK units are trading even higher, between 2 crore and 3.5 crore rupees, depending on the floor, tower and Aravali view. That's roughly 100% absolute gain over 8 years an annualized return of compounded annual basis of 9 to 10%. Here's the Lexora take, and it's the single most important framing point in this entire brief. The 9 to 10% CAGR almost exactly mirrors the broader Sohna corridor's 74% capital value jump since late 2021. In other words, this is a corridor beta, not a project alpha. The price growth you are seeing isn't evidence that Godrej Nature Plus specifically is outperforming. It's evidence that Sohna as a whole is having a moment, and this project is simply riding that tide. Along with every other project on the road, your future returns will track the macro story we covered on slide 3. The metro, the elevated corridor, the industrial township, the far more than they will track anything Godrej does operationally. Which brings me to the next part of it, which is essentially that slide. This is sort of the slide that every buyer should read twice before signing anything. Remember that 1385 square feet super built up figure from earlier, the RERA registered carpet area that actually the actual usable floor space inside your walls for the same unit if is under 822 square feet. Run the math and the loading factor comes out to 40.6%. The real estate industry's median for healthy spatial efficiency is under 30%. What that 40% number means in plain terms is this: a disproportionate share of what you are paying for is financing the O2 island, the clubhouse, the lobbies and corridors, not your private living space. Your rooms will feel smaller than the headline square footage suggests, because nearly 40% of what you are built for, you will never actually stand inside. Now let's look at yield, and when I look at that, take a representation 1.5 crore 2 BHK, rent it out at 28,000 rupees a month, or let's say 35,000. That's 3,60,000 a year in gross rental income, maybe perhaps 4,20,000. Subtract the common area maintenance charges, about 5,500 rupees a month, or 66,000 a year, and you are left with a net total income of about 270 to 3.2. Divide that by your 1.5 crore capital outlay, and your net rental yield is 1.8% to 2%. That is below what a 6-month fixed deposit pays you with none of the liquidity. The conclusion is unambiguous. This is a capital appreciation asset and a lifestyle consumption asset for end user. It is not in any sense a cash flow investment for that matter. Which brings me to the next part, which is risk inventory. 4 flags that we were able to identify. First is a half-decade delay in formalizing and creating it, and with these kind of delays also comes the kind of issues that any property sees because of construction delay. There is likelihood of rusting at the construction site of various all the sarias etc. used in this. However, that is not, I think, the biggest issue at the moment, given that the kind of construction that Godrej does, it does take care of these kind of things. Then also, please remember that in November 2025, Godrej Highview formally filed with HRERA to extend the project's validity way into January 2028, and Haryana RERA has invited objections from allottees on the extension. That's a confirmed half a decade delay from the original promise, not a not any sort of rumor. Second are the litigations, and Haryana RERA complaint number 4800 and 5346 of 2024 are, and among others, allege that the developer misrepresented the project is in the brochures and coercively forfeited booking amounts from the buyers trying to exit. In one documented case, retaining over 9 lakh rupees of a single buyer deposit. Some disputes have settled with the developer agreeing to pay delay investment at 10.85% annual interest, but the sheer volume of these complaints signaled real friction between the developer and its buyers. Third, parent company risk. Godrej Properties, the parent company, is currently embodied in a separate serious dispute with Orris Infrastructure over an unrelated project, Godrej Air in Sector 85 Gurugram, where Orris allegedly, so it was some time back, roughly 200 crore rupees in diverted fund. This has escalated to an FIR filed by Delhi Police's Economic Offence Wing under criminal breach of trust, cheating and conspiracy sections of the Indian Penal Code. Godrej has secured a stay on coercive action from the Delhi High Court, and the matters remain sub judice, but it is a real documented counterparty risk overhang on the parent brand, even though it doesn't touch the specific project's land title. And fourth is the occupancy certificate. Authenticity. Gurugram DTCP and the Chief Minister's flying squads are actively investigating over 1500 OCs issued between July 2025 and March 2026 after finding buildings with valid looking certificates that lacked working elevators, plaster walls, or basic fire safety. That means every broker telling you a unit here is ready to move needs to be independently verified against the developer's own RERA filings, which as of this brief still classifies the entire project as under construction. None of these four flags individually should be a deal breaker. Together they are exactly why this is a selective buy, not an unconditional one precisely. Okay, which brings me to the next part, how it stacks up in sector 33. Well, there are a couple of other projects like Ashiana, Anmol and Central Park Flower Valley. Because the completion is genuinely revealing, each project has picked a completely different lane. Godrej is playing the health and wellness card with the O2 Island and CTMA3 technology. Ashiana has built its entire identity around child-centric living, safety, learning infrastructure, young families. Central Park is playing the ultra luxury golf and lake township game with 2 BHK entry prices north of 2.7 crore. The number that should catch your attention is density. Godrej Nature Plus runs at roughly 48 units per acre. Ashiana and Anmol at 22, less than half. Both projects claim 70% open spaces. Both are priced in a broadly similar 2 BHK band, yet Godrej is asking you to share your elevators, lobbies and amenities with double the number of neighbors. Our framing for this is simple. With Godrej Nature Plus, you are buying the brand and the wellness narrative. You're not buying superior per capita open space. Ashiana wins the contest outright. Decide which one matters more to you before you decide between these two projects. And Central Park is a league of its own. It is very different, and different kind of buyers are attracted to it, which brings me to perhaps the last part of this conversation. So let's bring this home. Proceed if you fall into one of the three buckets. 1. You are a patient capital appreciation investor with a 2030 or later holding horizon. The elevated corridor, the metro loop and the industrial township will keep compounding land values in this corridor for the next decade, regardless of what happens with the specific project. 2. You are wellness oriented end user, genuinely sensitive to NCR's air quality, the O2 Island, the CTMA 3 filtration and the all corner layout deliver real daily quality of life benefits, not just market copy. 3. You are a brand reliant, risk averse buyer who values an institutional balance sheet over an organized local builder. Even with the Orris dispute and the consumer complaint on the table, avoid this project if you fall into the other three buckets. If you are an immediate end user or renter, a stabilized, genuinely livable community here is unlikely before 2027 or 2028, and given the ongoing OC authenticity scrutiny across Gurugram, even units marked as ready need independent verification before you trust them. If you are a yield seeking income investor, a 1.8% net yield on a 1.5 crore asset is simply uncompetitive. That capital is better deployed in SEO plots along the Sohna corridor, which are routinely yielding 8 to 11%. Also, again, this is a pun. And if you are an efficiency maximizing buyer who cares about carpet area per rupee, a loading factor north of 40%, you're financing common areas at the expense of your own living space, Ashiana, Anmol, or an independently built builder floor will get you materially more usable square footage for the same money. To close, Godrej Nature Plus is not a standard residential commodity. It is a specialized lifestyle product sitting on genuinely excellent land in one of NCR's strongest growth corridors. Whether it is right for you depends entirely on which of these 6 profiles you recognize yourself in. This brief is an analytical option, not a transaction recommendation. Please verify all RERA, OC, and title positions independently before booking. Thank you. Reach out to us for any further guidance and private consultations. Thank you and have a great day.